Hey folks, I'm Pesky here bringing another audio commentary. Today I'm going to be commentating a game that I'm assured is very awesome between Cass and Knicker. And as you can see, it's on Plunder Isle 2.0, and so that means it has this tavern in the middle, and the gold mines have two entrances now, and also all the creeps have been changed, and all the drops have been changed as well. And immediately we can see Knicker not going for an altar first, so he's going to be going for some sort of tavern build. I'm not sure what hero he'll get first. Obviously against human, you do have a number of choices, but there are a couple of ones that are really quite standard, and they all tend to be quite fun games as well. Whereas obviously Cass is going for a really standard build at this point, and it looks like he'll probably be putting up his second farm with this first peasant. And if we just take a look, obviously a fast Ancient of War going up for Knicker. Obviously he's going to want to creep this out, and then this camp gets you very close to level 2. It's exactly the same as sort of the equivalent in Twisted Meadows, a couple other camps like that. I think it even has the same drop, and so obviously Ancient of War creeping is pretty possible with that. And at this, generally the Wisp from the Moonwell will then build the altar as soon as that's finished. Although he did have a bit of a late Moonwell, so maybe he's gonna. No, that's not he's going to build it anyways. So look like, yep, there it goes straight to the altar. And quite nice positioning here, meaning he has this nice blocked off bit in the back of his base. And if footmen want to run in or anything, they're going to have to run past this Tree of Life, which will just be able to beat down on them a bit. And this militia now coming in, accidentally aggroing the creeps. Actually, obviously this is a new map, and so people might not fully understand how this map works. But it looks like he does get away pretty unscathed, and obviously this is a bit of a late militia, but it is going to still probably put up a farm somewhere in the base and then run away again. And first archer is now out, and obviously since he's going for a tavern build, he will be wanting more than one archer before he Ancient of War creeps, and he might well put up a second Ancient of War even just because you sort of, it's really important to creep up your heroes. And the first footman coming out now for Cass as well, and it looks like he's just gonna sit outside here. This looks like this must be the first camp he's gonna creep. And an archmage now out as well as two militia, and the second footman is out as well. And you don't really need too much. Obviously, he waits for that purge on the footman before summoning his water elemental. And Wisp is now coming in. We'll have to see Dark Ranger first for Knicker. Not a huge surprise there. Dark Ranger really good against human as long as you can keep up the momentum. I'll probably talk about a bit more about that later, but basically Dark Ranger is all about just sort of keeping going and either being creeping or sort of attacking at all times and making good use of your skeletons. And it looks like Knicker is taking a lot of damage on Ancient of War because his Dark Ranger took a while to come in. Knicker started creeping a bit before his Dark Ranger was back, and that doesn't really make a big difference, and it's going to mean that he is going to get I think there is a skeleton there, and his Ancient of War taking a lot of damage now, but obviously we'll just be able to eat a tree and then heal up. And a Claws of Attack drop as well for Knicker. That's pretty nice because the Dark Ranger can do a lot of damage, and obviously being ranged as well, that helps as well. And level 2 on the Archmage any second now. There's level 2, and Slippers of Agility +3, not a brilliant item, but as you can see, Knicker already with a pretty hefty army at this point. Even though we're just sort of 3 minutes into the game, he already has 3 archers, 3 skeletons, and a Dark Ranger, which is almost level 2. And meanwhile, he's just going to continue to creep off lots of easy camps, but just lots of camps with low hit point units, so we can get a lot of skeletons. And I imagine he might even go for the mine after this. I'm pretty sure that would be possible with all these skeletons because he is going to have a lot of them. And what's the item that he's got? A Mantle of Intelligence, not a bad item. Obviously lots of mana required to play the Dark Rangers because Silence is a brilliant skill, as well as Life Drain, as well as Dark Arrow, but I think we'll be seeing Dark Arrow and Silence. And Tree of Life actually going up now for Knicker, so this is quite nice, a very early expansion here. And it's possible that we're going to see one from Cass as well. Yeah, Cass is going for a fast expansion as well, but obviously Elf probably will have a bit of a sort of have the element of surprise here if nothing else. And you can just see sort of what a strong army Knicker has, and Knicker might do well to send a lot of these skeletons down just to try and firstly do some scouting, but also just get some harassment out on these towers while they're going up, because obviously they're just such expendable units. It's well worth just wasting them if you have nothing better to do. And a Circle of Nobility, another very nice item for the Dark Ranger, and almost level 3 as well. And meanwhile, Cass just getting out with his Archmage a bit. He's a bit behind in experience, not too far. And actually no farm ever went up in his base. And an Ancient of War going up as well as a Hunter's Hall, so it looks like Knicker will be going for some sort of hunt build, maybe staying at tier 1. And one tower actually going up for Cass is a bit sneaky here. Cass has built another tower, or he started building another tower here. Obviously he would cancel it if it ever got attacked, just to get that sort of a couple gold back. But looks like this first Ancient War might actually be cancelled as well, and so this is could be quite good for Nick or from Cass, sorry, because he can just move in and he has these sort of secret towers at the moment. I imagine he'll make an arcane tower first. I'm not even sure if he has a lumber mill. No, he doesn't even have a lumber mill yet. So arcane tower is sort of the obvious thing to go for if he wants to actually go for a tower push. And 5 footmen here really going to do a lot of damage to these moon wells. A couple of these wisps actually trapped. You can see this wisp here is actually trapped within Nicker's moon well, so it can't move over to heal, and so Cass now just sort of focusing down the first moon well, and that's very bad for Nicker because he didn't even manage to use the moon juice from it. But meanwhile, Nicker is in Cass's base and actually just taking out all the towers that were going up, so he cancelled the expansion. That's very nice there by him. And looks he's TVing back in. He's probably gonna get at least one more footman kill here, and that's gonna be very nice for him. He's also gonna scout these towers, I imagine, and so he'll be able to come back for those later. And Nicker has tried to put up his Ancient of War in a different position now as well. Obviously he has this one here as well, and he is pumping huntresses now. His first one is out, but a nice deny there actually by Cass. I'm not sure if you saw that, but he actually managed to kill his own footman when it was low, just to deny the experience. And he did that with other footmen as well, which isn't particularly easy, especially when you're being chased by loads of ranged units. And dark minions now, so level 2 Dark Arrow, and that's really nice because those things have so many hit points that you can really just have such an impressive meat shield with that. It looks like no second attempt at an expansion. Obviously Nicker has a wisp just sitting around just so he can scout it out, and his expansion probably is up or very close to up by now, and obviously that's going to start paying out dividends in a second. I'm not sure, maybe no, Cass hasn't opted just attack instead. He doesn't really have much economy at this point, and this one tower is taking a lot of damage, but just from this one minion, but looks like it will just manage to stay up, although he might well cancel it anyway. So at this point there's not really too much purpose to it now that he has these towers up. I think Nicker never actually scouted those towers, so this is sort of a bit of a good thing for Cass, but still, Nicker was sort of level 3 or level 4 now actually. Dark Ranger, no TP, but still pretty nice units. And obviously he can creep quite hard camps now, just because he can really take a lot of damage on the skeletons. He doesn't really mind if they die because he has so many of them and they have such a short lifespan anyways. And level 3 now on the Archmage. Obviously a level 2 water elemental, so good against huntresses, but like when you're also just so outnumbered, those water elementals really aren't as useful. And what item do you get? Oh, a potion of greater healing, and he bought a heal scroll as well. So actually, those are some pretty nice items. And Cass now power building a lumber mill. I guess he just has all these. He has 5 peasants here, and he doesn't have enough, or he doesn't really have that much lumber, and so he just figures that's a good use of 120 gold. It's just to enhance his lumber production while he's not building towers. And Nicker definitely now scouting these towers now, and yeah, I'm not sure if he's going to try and respond immediately or he's going to try and counterattack. I think he might try and counterattack. That does look like what he's trying to do. He just realizes that he can't win this battle, and so he is going to need to go into go into an attack. And also, since he has an expansion up, it's really worth trying to go for the base trade. And this one footman actually managed to get by unscathed. That's a bit lucky for him, really. And Cass will now have to protect his base. He has only one tower up, and I imagine he might even have to TP. And although his Nicker's expansion is taking a lot of damage, Cass does have his TP, so he might decide to TP in after taking out this Tree of Life. This will be very good for Cass, because obviously it will mean that Nicker will have lost his main, and that's just so hard to do. And Nicker not really paying attention to his wisps by the looks of things. But meanwhile, Nicker is just taking out a whole bunch of these footmen or peasants in the gold line, and obviously getting skeletons from them as well, so that's very nice for him. But a TP now coming in from Cass, and we'll see what position he goes for. He goes for a very aggressive positioning and brings in militia at the same time. That's really clever, because obviously that's just going to destroy these archers. He really needs to get a line of sort of huntresses in between the units, but Nicker does just decide to TP away in the end. He had taken a lot of damage on some of his units, and this will reveal though to Cass that he does have an expansion up, because obviously he just lost one expansion, and so Cass will know that there is something worth scouting at this point. And looks like Cass is running in with his units. Obviously he's going to want to take down these units take down these buildings before he builds his own an expansion there, but that would be a fairly sensible thing to do, considering it's already creeped out and he already has a bunch of peasants there with nothing really else to do apart from just to make a long trek back to his base. And one hunter is now getting caught out a bit. It might get surrounded, actually a very nice surround there by Nick, or by Cass. Obviously it's not too hard, but hunters have such good movement speed that it can be pretty tricky. And Nicker now going for a pretty solid defense here, putting up an ancient protector and then surrounding it with moonwells, which is going to mean that it's going to be pretty hard to get Cass to get all his footmen. But he does have a lot of footmen. He has, I'd say, about 10 footmen here, maybe 11, and that's gonna be really hard for Nicker to fight off, even though he does have a high level hero. If he gets some level 5 Dark Ranger, that could be very nice. And obviously he just hasn't done anything about these towers really. I mean, he cancelled that one that was being built in Nicker in his base, but he hasn't really managed to take out these bulk of the towers, which is really just gonna annoy him for the entire game if he ever wants to re-expand, or if he ever wants to rebuild his main. And looks like the Archmage now summons a water elemental, but looks like he does get surrounded, although it's about to time out, and so I'm not sure whether or not Nicker will actually get the experience. Yes, he does. That's a bit very fortunate for him. Obviously, he didn't have much time left, and Archmage summoning another water elemental now, and this one archer is pretty low. It actually takes a lot of damage from that last hit. I guess that's the advantage of having a Mantle of Intelligence and Circlet of Ability. You get that extra +5 damage, which I think did actually make the difference between killing it and not. And this one water elemental does go down, and Nicker will be very close to 5 now. Yeah, he is. He will be there very soon. And meanwhile, Cass is bringing in all of these footmen in, and he's probably just guessed that this expansion is here because it can't really be anywhere else. And so Nicker forced to run in just to try and fight off these footmen, and they can just run away, but although they do now have defend as well, which is going to be infinitely useful against that ancient protector. But